David Dobrik just came back with his new vlog, and so many of you are asking me to comment on his body transformation. So let's watch it, as well as his documentary on the entire process. Let's get started.
I want to do the Zero transformation with you.
Okay.
I was like, I really have to figure myself out.
The reason that I really decided to do this is my friend Joe over here, my really good buddy, texted me and goes, can I say something with love, honor? And then he doesn't even send me anything. He just sends me a picture of me on FaceTime. And then I go, I know, I'm too fat.
Everyone has a different motivation for what drives them to want to make changes in their body. Some, it's appearance, others, it's their health. To me, the reason why I recommend it to many of my patients is because of their health. Ideally, I'm trying to optimize them to have the greatest chance of success. And when people say, well, you can carry more weight and still be healthy, that is true. Totally, it can happen. But the idea of carrying excess weight, why it's a problem, is down the line. It creates excess health risk moving forward in the future. So I don't just think about, are you healthy now and are overweight? It's, are you healthy now and will continue to be healthy, or are you facing increased risk?
This is my before body. Or if you're watching this video in 4 years, it may be my current body after I relapse.
Oh my God! It's worse than I thought.
What do you mean worse than I thought? That's basically what I look like right now.
I feel really uncomfortable standing like this in front of you guys.
Please put your shirt back on.
I was up close like a viewer would be, and it's pretty fucking bad.
This is a lot of body shaming happening right here, and I'm not entirely a fan of this. He's probably not carrying that much excess weight where it's gonna be health-wise problematic. If he says, I prefer to look a different way and I wanna get healthier and I wanna look more muscular, that's one thing, but like making fun of his appearance, it might not be bad for him, but it can be triggering for others. And when you're making content for millions of people, you gotta factor that in. I know people come after me for being fat phobic when I talk about weight loss in general, but I think when a doctor is talking about carrying excess weight and that excess health risk that comes with it, that's different than when someone is just poking fun at their appearance. So a DEXA scan is a body composition scan. The way we use DEXA scans in medicine is more so for bone density testing to make the diagnosis of osteoporosis or osteopenia. But what's cool about a DEXA scan is that it's also become the gold standard for body composition, which tells us how much muscle tissue, lean muscle mass, as well as body fat is present. And through there, we can do a little bit of a calculation, decide what someone's body fat percentage is. There are actually some error rates with it. And I know people say it's the gold standard, and that's true. Hydration status, sex, disease state, the type of machine you're using, the current software update that it has, all play a role in its accuracy and whether or not it changes from scan to scan. So it's important to keep that in mind and not just rely on that as the sole indicator for your health.
Your percentage of body fat on the DEXA scan is going to be 27.8% body fat.
Ooh, is that good?
No, my brother. That's obese.
No, it's not. Is it actually?
I believe the WHO does 25% for males.
I don't have a numerical goal where I'm like, I want 9% body fat or I want to weigh 160 pounds.
I don't think that, like, unless you're training for a very specific goal. Like, for example, if you're a marathon runner and you're doing it professionally and you need to chase a certain time, that makes sense. If you enjoy the passion of chasing something specific, you can do it. But health-wise, I don't ever push someone to get to a specific body fat percentage because we don't yet have good correlations as to what number is actually perfect for you. It's more of a single number that we look at in combination with all the other numbers and aspects that are going on in your life and health in order to decide whether or not you're optimized.
Mine is all visual. Like if I'm okay to look in the mirror at myself.
That's fairly normal and should not be judged.
Go!
So if he's going straight from being sedentary, going and starting to do miles right away may not be ideal unless he's comfortable with that kind of mileage. If you start too quickly, you can develop soreness, you can develop injuries, so much so that it demotivates you to continue working out. And it's all about being continuous. And remember, exercise is not the end all be all for weight loss. It's more about the diet. That's pretty good. For someone just off the couch?
A lot of the people that do these transformations like kind of give up the fun part of their life. You know, eating good,
fun things from time to time, and like that's what I don't want to do. I want to make sure like whatever I become or however good shape I get to, like I want to make sure I can maintain it.
Yeah, that's the problem. When people think about transformations, they think about it as a point in time as opposed to making a lasting, healthy lifestyle change. So it's good that he has that in the back of his mind.
Oh my lord.
That's the biggest I've ever been in my entire life.
I've never seen people who normally weigh themselves with their shoes on.
So in order for him to retain muscle and lose only body fat, we're gonna be aiming for about 200 grams of protein a day.
200 grams of protein, he's 180. It's a little bit over a gram per pound. It's fine. There's been some arguments about getting 1 per kilogram of body weight, 1 per pound of body weight. Some people do more. Ideally, you should be keeping your protein intake pretty high if you're trying to minimize muscle loss when you are losing weight. And you still will lose muscle when you're losing weight, no matter how much protein you take in. It's just part of the journey. That's why people who are doing this professionally have periods where they're bulking, where they're shredding. It's not just year round, they're fully ripped all the time perfectly, because that's not sustainable. This type of high intensity interval training has been shown to be really beneficial, specifically for fat loss, because it helps grow muscle, but it's not this long-standing cardio workout where you are also losing muscle. So the idea is mixing up workouts where you're doing strength training, high intensity interval training, or moderate continuous training where you're basically walking 3-speed, 12 incline for 45 minutes. That sort of mix is usually the best outcome for someone who's just generally trying to get into good shape.
Like, well, who's your dream body?
Oh, my dream body? Tom Holland.
When he's ripped.
When he's ripped.
The problem when people look at celebrities, and I've done this myself, I went to the gym and hold a picture of Chris Evans or something and be like, that's gonna be me like he was in Captain America. 'Cause a lot of times it's not realistic. They get paid to look like that. So their lives are surrounded by dieting, exercising with professionals. Sometimes anabolics are involved, or they'll say that they need testosterone replacement, what have you. So don't think that those are realistic bodies that they're walking around year round with. It's just not true in the majority of cases unless they have amazing genetics or something.
The number is, you went from 27.8 to 25.2. Wow. You went from 46 pounds of fat to 41 pounds of fat, and
Wow.
you gained 4 pounds of muscle.
This is the thing when you start an exercise program. The scale might not change as quickly. Initially it might, because you might lose some water weight, but then it plateaus because then you start gaining muscle, but losing fat. So you're creating a different composition of your body, but the numbers on the scale don't change. And sometimes that demotivates people. So it's important to look in the mirror and make sure that you're seeing the change as well as knowing your performance in the gym is improving.
I ordered 30 strip bucket for the ride, airplane ride, because we have 2 layovers.
How many calories do you think are in there?
In a 30 strip bucket, 12,000.
His whole mantra is that he wants to get fit eating whatever he wants. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't.
It's not about maybe it will, maybe it won't. It's about making sure the calories are correct. People like to dunk on calories in, calories out, and show every example in which it doesn't apply. But the reality is, it still applies. If someone has a condition that impacts how much they're burning, like if someone can't exercise, that's still impacting calories out. If someone has a condition where they have hyperphagia syndrome, where they're overeating food, that's still excess calories in. But if you control the amount of calories in and you control the amount of calories out, you will see results.
Obviously, I could see some changes with my shirt off. Like, getting good lighting, I could take a solid picture. But like, with my shirt on, I mean, look at me. Nothing's changed.
Health has changed. That's the benefit. It's so wild, because if I came up to someone, I was like, hey, you want to live longer? Everyone will say yes. And then I'll say, okay, exercise. And they'll go, but will I look better? You're gonna live longer.
He's losing progress because of his diet.
How many french fries am I allowed to eat?
Come on, bro, put it down. David, dead ass.
The fact that he's eating the French fries and drinking the Coca-Cola is not inherently a problem. The issue when you're consuming these refined carbs, quick digesting carbs, sugars, is that they're easy to overconsume. They make you hungrier quicker, so they don't keep you satiated. So as a result, they're easy to overeat. And when you're overeating and you're constantly hungry and you're getting these swings and crashes, it makes your diet usually unhealthier.
He's trying to prove to me that his method works.
It feels so good.
And this is not great, obviously, for cholesterol, high saturated fat, not healthy fat either, so.
My goal going into this DEXA scan is anything around 16.6.
15.7.
Wow.
Good work.
Yes. This is great news, being that you traveled for 2 months, but like you can't do what you did last month.
Dude, it'll go down again, I promise you. Okay, so the next goal would be, well, I'm traveling again. And this one's gonna be the worst one, because I'm gonna get f***ing sloshed this next week.
Something people don't consider is, yes, when you consume alcohol, it has calories. So it's easy to drink more calories, especially with sugary alcoholic beverages. But when you are inebriated, you are drunk, you tend to overconsume food in general and lose sense of how much food you're consuming. So it's easy to drink, pick up 1,000 calories just from the drinks, and then afterwards to say, oh, I'm so hungry, and just massively binge another 1,000, 2,000 calories. And if you do that often enough, that's not gonna be healthy for your body.
Today's scan, you're at 16.4. And the previous scan last month, 30 days ago, you were at 15.7. You gained a pound of body fat and you lost basically 2 pounds of muscle.
You know, they're doing so many of these DEXA scans. Normally, you wouldn't be super concerned about the amount of radiation exposure because it's basically the amount that you would get getting an x-ray. But if someone's getting an x-ray like every month, I would be like, do you really need that? Because those things add up. And while traveling and being on an airplane does expose you to radiation as well, it's like, you wanna limit that, especially if it's not for medical reasons. Like if you're getting an x-ray to check for a fracture, because you might need to intervene, that makes sense. But here, it's purely for entertainment, so I don't know.
He's been drinking whatever he wants, he's been eating whatever he wants, and you can only get so far with that type of mindset.
I told you multiple times that if you're not like tracking what you're doing, you'll reach a point of diminishing returns, which is exactly what's happened. And your way is my way or the highway, and this is where it's gotten you.
Tracking isn't absolutely necessary. Tracking is valuable to get an idea and a sense of what's in typical foods. Because it's easy to underestimate, let's say, sugar content of some foods, or overestimate protein content of what you would call a healthy food. So I like tracking to get a sense of things, or if you just need help because your life is so busy, tracking is valuable, but it's not for everyone.
We stopped seeing results for about 2 months, and in order to get him back to structure and discipline, we created the 75-day David Dobrik challenge. The plan consists of these 4 key elements. Number 1, diet. So far, David's been eating meals that are high in calories but low in protein. McDonald's, Taco Bell, Subway.
These are just like the unhealthiest foods. And again, I'm not saying like you can't have one of these meals every now and then. It's just like consuming them every day like that is just, forget about the weight. Metabolically, it's unhealthy.
We're gonna replace those meals with healthier alternatives that have the same calories but much higher protein.
These 4 meals is what you can have, plus this, plus a shake.
Every day?
Every day.
Number 2, calorie tracking. The ultimate goal is to consume fewer calories than what you burn. To achieve this, David will have to be tracking his meals. Number 3, workouts. David's gonna be working out every day, specifically 30 minutes of steady state cardio on a treadmill.
It's funny that we just talked about this. You also don't need to work out every day. You definitely want to include a rest day. If they're saying just going for a mild walk as exercise, that's fine, but you need to incorporate some rest days in there.
And finally, number 4, no soda.
What?
No soda at all. No diet soda, no regular soda.
I can't have a Diet Coke.
You can't have any type of Coke.
I have like 5 Diet Cokes a day.
I wonder why they're telling him to cut out Diet Coke specifically.
The goal of this challenge is to build consistency and self-control. So if he does that every single day for 75 days straight, he should be able to build enough habits to be able to last a lifetime.
That's not necessarily true, and that's not my opinion. That's not just what I see in my practice. That's just not what the evidence shows.
Big day, baby. Final DEXA scan today. I'm done. Tomorrow, eating all the fast foods. Wingstop. No. Okay.
So much for if he stays for 75 days, he's gonna build up great habits.
Regardless of the number for this final DEXA, he crushed the 75-day challenge.
Exactly, that's why the DEXA thing doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Treat the patient, not the lab value. If you're a person, think about how you feel. If you're a doctor, think about treating the patient.
Your first scan, you're at 27.8% body fat. Now,
I am at a whopping
11 months later.
Oh my God! Why would you say it like that?
You are down to 13.1.
Wow!
That's half. But again, that information is strictly only for the wow moment, like nothing else. And you know what else could have created that wow moment? A photo of before and after, without all the radiation.
You went from 46.4 pounds of fat to 20.5 pounds of fat.
See you later, fat.
Losing a total of 25.9 pounds of fat.
Wow.
Cause I don't know what you're looking for.
Is he gonna start YouTube boxing now? Who do we want to see David Dobrik verse in the YouTube boxing ring? And speaking of body fat, does your BMI even matter? Is it accurate? Click here to check that out, and as always, stay happy and healthy.